Hey everybody, Comic Cowboy here, and by popular demand, I have got the second video that I've done on pre-code horror for you right now. Uh, I collect this material. It's one of the funnest categories of comic book collecting out there, period. This is just wonderful material from the most part, the early to mid 1950s, mostly early. And I've got some great books here, some recent books that I picked up in this category, and some stuff that I took out of the vault to share with you today. No rhyme and reason. I'm just going to share with you some cool books. We're going to take a look at them. I may share a couple of reasons why I picked it up, but for the most part, I'm buying material that I like the cover. I like the artwork. I might be identifying a specific title, a specific artist, and trying to get mid-grade or higher if possible. If the book's really hard to come by, I do get lower grade. So let's take a look. I'm just going to pick these off the floor. Again, no particular order. I'll do my best with the screen glare. Starting you off with Uncanny Tales 21 Atlas. Got a lot of Atlas here from 1954. This is really nice 6.5 book there. What a fantastic cover. Any of this genre stuff with zombies on the cover is particularly coveted. Look at that. What a cool book. 6.5 in this Uncanny is not easy to come by. And it's a tough book anyway. Here's Marvel Tales 118 from 1953. I'll take the holder off. Maybe that'll do better with the glare. What a nice book. Also in a 6.0 here. This is a fantastic cover. I don't know if this is some sort of beast or werewolf. He's green. He's injected himself with the serum. I guess that's the doctor on the floor, and it's working. Marvel Tales, just an iconic line. Really great stuff. I buy it when I see it, when I can, especially in that grade. Here's an example of a title, a material I buy almost when I could find it. This is the Unseen Standard Comics. Issue 13 is 4.5. Look at this bride coming across the mantle there. Really cool line. Whenever this material is offered on the CGC boards, you don't see it that often. It gets swooped up like right away. It simply stands apart. I think the artwork is so fantastic. And this is a great, really sort of underrated book that's not talked about as an iconic or classic cover. I certainly think it's really modern, sort of contemporary looking book. Really cool stuff. This is a book I picked up recently. I'm really happy with this acquisition. Spellbound. It's a really good Atlas line. This is Spellbound 20, 1954. Look at that. Look at this just amazing cover there. Sorry about the glare. Not too much we could do about that. But I think you could see the book. I'll move it around so you could see the artwork as best you can. That's in a that's a 5.5, really nice book. This is sort of a bit of sci-fi horror there. I don't see this book that often, and I got it, I think, off Comic Link at auction, and I was really happy to take it home. It's a fantastic book, and it belongs in your collection. Here's one I picked up from another collector who is selling some books. This is particularly hard, I think, to come across. Some of the St. John's horror. This is Weird Horrors number 8 from 53. Just a great cover. This is a book, again, you don't see too often. And how great is it, right? You've got this weird scene happening here in front of the grave with the witch and this blonde guy coming out of the grave, and this redhead here, this sultry redhead there, right over the grave. Weird Horrors 53, St. John's, really kind of, I think, a bit of a caviar of PCH, if you can find that one. Again, now I'm going back to the Standard Comics, Adventures into Darkness 14. I love this book. Now, you may see it and think, oh, 5.0, mid-grade, no big deal. This book is so hard to find in mid-grade or higher. You usually, if you can find this book, you will find typically a complete beater. And I'll buy the beaters too, because this is a fantastic underrated book. Again, standard. These books look very modern, contemporary. The artwork is fantastic. I mean, look at this. You know, you've got the skeletons rowing away from the ship and this guy drowning. A really wonderful piece of artwork here. And I think a great example, off-white pages here. Just a really good book. From the same collector that I got the Weird Horrors from, I picked up this astonishing 6 early Atlas off-white pages. That's nice, 1951. My Coffin is Waiting. When I saw this book in his collection, I had not seen it before. And that may have been the reason I bought it from him. And he collects pre-code. He knows what he's doing. This is a great book that you don't see too often. Lady in the red dress there. Early Astonishing. Again, this is a great line by Atlas. And I think if you see this book, usually people snap it up pretty quickly. Look at the background too, if you could see it back there. How cool. What a great book. I'm just rifling through these. I'm just sharing with you some of my personal favorites. I've been collecting pre-code horror for, I'd say, the last 4 years. Seriously, I've been in the comics for the last 9 years. Initially started off with Silver Age, high grade X-Men, and branched into Golden Age and the whole gamut. Some of my earlier videos, please subscribe and like. I show a lot of the books from the X-Men collection and some of the pre-code horror stuff, but let's keep going. Let's keep firing through it and look at more. I've got about 8 or 9 more books to show you. This is also a tough one, bought from the same collector. This is a Charlton Comics Thing, a Thing 14. This is Steve Ditko cover and art. So it makes it especially interesting given it's a Ditko horror cover, something that you really do not see even for the genre often. I had not seen the book actually until I saw it in this friend's collection. And he was gracious enough to sell it to me before considering sending it off to auction. It's got the original pencil date on there. And I believe it's from an original owner collection from someone from related to the collector. I'm not going to go into details. He wouldn't want me mentioning who he is, but nevertheless, we continue. Here's another good one. It's science fiction, maybe on the spectrum of horror, but I think it fits. It's a Tomb of Terror, which typically is a pre-code horror line. Harvey Publications, these covers, you can get some iconic stuff, I think, you know, in Tomb of Terror. Not all the covers are great, but when they do a good cover, they tend to knock it out of the park. Here's a 13 from 54. This is great. I mean, I kind of like astronauts in absolute peril or blowing up or disintegrating or whatnot. And these guys look like they just ran into some asteroid. And if you look closely, their outfits are coming apart and the glass on their helmets are already shattering. So they're goners. This stuff's cool. I like the material that isn't what I would consider sort of space opera or, kind of Flash Gordon-esque material. I usually don't collect that type of stuff. I typically don't buy women in high heels floating in outer space, but that's kind of cool as well. And definitely there's a lot of material out there with those types of covers, and people love them. Going back again, Standard Comics 54. This is issue 15. This is an example of a book that I do buy in lower grade because I just don't see it that often. I would love to get this in higher grade. It shows real well for the grade. They say, buy the book, not the grade, right? So 3.5, but how great does it look? And this guy's, about to get a shave at the barber, and it looks like the barber is going to take him to town. This is kind of a really cool image there, really graphic, really startling, amazing composition, and so much storytelling in one picture alone. Really cool. Love the standard stuff. All right, I'm going to show a book that's kind of iconic. This book here, I probably have a few copies of it. Mystery Tales 19. If you've seen it, you love it. Maybe it's in your collection. I think this is probably one of the best zombie covers of the era. You recognize this book? Very hard to get in higher grade. Here it is. Sorry about the glare, folks. Here it is in a 4.0, which is amazing artwork. You can't find these anymore being sold on the CGC boards. You used to. I'd say 2-3 years ago, I'd routinely be buying this kind of material, and collectors are just holding on to it. They're not selling it. And in fact, I don't even see this book on auction recently, checking through, and I go through all of them, friend, Comic Link, Comic Connect, eBay, Heritage, and you don't see a Mystery Tales 19 surfacing that much. Really great. What an amazing cover. I hope you've got that in your collection if you collect PCH. Here's a personal favorite, maybe not an expensive book, but a book that I love. And this is a Menace 11 from 54. And look at that. Doesn't that feel like your day in the office last Friday? Locked in, just amazing storytelling, wonderful depiction here and artwork. Turn it upside down, you even have another image that works, right? Isn't that kind of interesting? And I've got this book in a 4.5. I believe I got this one slabbed here, so I originally had it raw. Hard book to find. Usually when you see Menace 11, it's beat to hell. And a 4.5, you can't complain. Got a couple more, folks. I just love this stuff. I could sit here all day. I got piles of pre-code horror. I just stash it. I collect it. I hoard it. I don't sell it. It's probably the one category of book I just don't sell ever. It's just, I find no reason to sell the material. It's sort of like an old vintage rock t-shirt. The minute you sell your old Dawkins t-shirt, you regret that you did because you'll never see it again. It's kind of the same with this pre-code horror stuff. I do routinely consign and sell some Golden Age books, some Silver Age books, not the pre-code. I'm holding on to this stuff. In fact, if I ever sold the entire collection, I would keep this stuff. It's just too fun to look at. It's too great to hold on to. Once you sell it, it's gone forever. Some of these books you may just not come across. This is not like buying a Hulk 181. This is much more niche, much different. Here's a Mr. Mystery. The whole Mr. Mystery line is great. Some of the books in the line are much more expensive than others. This is one early in the line, a 4.0, number 3, that isn't particularly expensive, but I think it's great. And the reason it's not particularly expensive is probably because there's not a lady, a damsel in distress, a woman in peril on the cover, which would drive up the price quite a bit. But how awesome is this anyway? Really cool. Again, if that was a woman in a yellow dress, a tattered dress, this book would be worth 3 or 4 times more. It's still really cool. Look at that wonderful use of color, against this praying mantis right there. That's a really strong composition. Excellent use of color, very dynamic, very realistic. And there's I love the logo. Who is Mr. Mystery? He's probably some sick dude. And down to the last one, and I'm glad this is last because it ain't least, and it just ended up this way in the pile. But I think this is one of my favorite books that I've shown you today, along with the Mystery Tales that we just looked at. Here's a tough one, and 6.0, really hard to come by. It. Adventures into Darkness 9 from 53, also Standard Comics. Look at this. How cool is that? And what a beautiful copy, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the colors on this 6.0, page quality off-white to white, Alex Toth art, just an amazing book. I was lucky maybe about 2-3 years ago to start picking up a couple copies of this book. I think right now it'd be particularly hard to come by, and you don't see this stuff offered at auction that readily. You've got a werewolf. You've got this diabolical looking lady over here with the potion. Flowers on Deborah's grave. We don't know what's going on here. But this, the 1950s, this is the golden age of horror, whether it's the comic books themselves or material on the silver screen in the movies when you had the iconic films of the 1950s, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Bride of Frankenstein, Dracula. Those were just some seminal films, and the movie posters from the late 40s into the 50s. That stuff's very valuable, and hence these books will be. I just think these will hold the test of time. There's just people that are really passionate about these books. I think new collectors today don't really know too much about this. They're focusing on the superheroes, but this is just a passion. This is beyond collecting. This is beyond investing. This is just cool stuff that I've built and amassed here. And every time there's an auction, I take a chance to, pick some new selections to add into the growing collection here of Pre-Code Horror. There you go. I hope you liked it, and do subscribe, folks. Do share the video, help build it out. I'm just doing this for the fun, and your subscriptions and your likes help do provide support for what I'm doing here and validates it. So I appreciate that. Have a good one.